Grand Theft Auto 5, we're doing a comparison. On the left we have Xbox Series X, on the right we have Xbox Series S. Be sure to like the video. Subscribing is great as well, as these are a ton of work to put together. A lot of work. So we will be comparing the fidelity modes, the performance modes, and also throwing in a brief RT performance mode against performance mode. So you'll see that highlighted with lettering at the top of the screen briefly, and then a new segment will arrive that once again showcases that, so you can see them lined up through a variety of different scenarios, from walking around to driving to exploring this vast open world in GTA Online. So while this does support HDR, I have turned that off on both options as not to impact the picture. Keep in mind that there are slight variations to the time of day and or the cloud offerings. I tried to get everything lined up to the best of my ability, but it is quite dynamic. And these are solo multiplayer sessions just so that things are even more focused as not to deal with people causing absolute mayhem within the world, which is something you would expect. So keep in mind that the Series X has 3 modes and the Series S has 2 modes. So the Series S does not get the RT options, which is just a very light bit of shadow ray tracing, which really doesn't do much at all. Really doesn't make much of a difference. It's practically not even there. So keep that in mind when we are comparing these two. So first off, let's talk about the fidelity mode. So on the Series X, it is a native 4K resolution. On Series S, it is 1440p that is being upscaled to 4K. Both modes run at 30 FPS. The fidelity mode on the Series X also includes the light little bit of shadow ray tracing that I mentioned that's practically not even really visible and doesn't even matter, I would say, is the biggest thing there. Next up, we have performance mode, which is also a little bit of a trickier scenario. So we're getting 60 FPS for both of these options. On Series X, it is 1440p that upscales to 4K. On Series S, it is 1080p. There might be some dynamic slight elements at play in regards to the resolution, but that is generally the gist of how these are performing across the different platform options that are present. They do visually look very similar. I've noticed the draw distance is about the same. The pop-in is about the same. I think every once in a while you might notice some slight, more pop-in maybe on Series S, just a little bit in some spots, but for the most part, I think they are very close, and you might get just a little bit more rendering distance on Series X at times, but it seems again to be very much about the same, as that might, even when I notice any differences between the two, that very well could be a real world kind of scenario impact, a slight cloud or haze effect as well that is impacting the visual look and aesthetic of the experiences. The textures in general across the experience have been improved, and I think seeing these side by side you can get an idea of how they look. And yes, I do match things up as best as I can. Sometimes crazy things happen. Cops come in. Regular people are annoying with their vehicles. There's all kinds of stuff going on. The traffic doesn't really seem to have been impacted too much on either of the two versions. It very much feels similar to where it was in the past. Obviously, loading has increased, but we're not really comparing that aspect since this is a visual comparison to see the differences between the two offerings that are present, Series X and Series S. So I would say this optimized version of the game actually does improve the overall experience a fair bit. Having that 60 FPS is the biggest thing for me personally in this experience that I think really adds a lot to what this game has to offer. Could there have been some more higher pushes for resolution? I definitely think so, but at the same time I would say that these are very fine versions. They upgrade your experience, they feel better, they look better, and I think that is an important aspect of play. I would say the Series S is actually rather impressive in terms of being quite an upgrade over its original Xbox One counterpart, whereas the Series X, I think they could have taken things quite a bit further, because I think there is a lot more power there kind of sitting there and waiting for this console to really deliver on that. So that kind of, is the matchup between the two. I hope this showcases a couple different scenes, gives you the full perspective on what this is, how this is kind of shaping up with this new version. I do have full reviews and details that dive into each of them more, kind of personally. I would say Series X and Series S, both of them covered in separate videos. Once again, liking the video is great, subscribing is great as well, and I hope you enjoy the rest of the comparison experience and you can get your own look and draw your own conclusions from what you're seeing between the two of them, which I think are matched up fairly quite well between the two. And yeah, that's kind of GTA 5 on the next gen with the optimization. It's shaping up to be something that is upgraded to a degree, I suppose.
Think you can just bump me? I don't give a shit. Was, a brother used to know who to trust around here. Not no more. Yeah, brother. Hey, look at this damn fool. Moron!
Life is groovy. I'm coasting on welfare, smoking bud, banging cougars. What more can a guy ask for?
Howdy! You'll see an eye doctor, you dope. Now that's how we solve that.
Hi!
Hey, across the street! What's up?
Hi, Clarissa. Any auditions tomorrow?
Good news, I'm pregnant again. Watch it. Now leave me alone. Oh, it'll be fine. The tax credit alone pays for the first 3 months of diapers. And I've narrowed the dad down to 2 guys. Just start knitting more baby socks, please, Mom. Bye.